everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Reptile News. Now, I'm trying to get back into the groove of this 3 days a week thing. We talked about, well, on the social networks, I talked last week, I believe it was, about getting back into some sort of schedule and said it might be after the show or thereabouts. And now it's after the show, so let's give it a try. Now we're going to start off today in Mississippi, where apparently a record alligator was captured. 697 pounds, beat out the previous record by 690 pounds. Previous record was 690 pounds, beat out the previous record by like 7.4 pounds. But anyway, unfortunately, this was on a hunting preserve, and I don't think I need to tell you how the rest of that story goes. The alligator's dead. It was hunted, and I mean, it's pretty sweet, these records that they find, but it's devastating when you find out the animal was actually killed. It was a record breaker for the area, but it was killed. And you know, I wish there was like a maximum, which there may be over there. I don't know. I know like here for sturgeon, when you're fishing, they got minimums and maximums, and you got to kind of go in between, you know. But I just wish some of these monsters they just leave out in the wild. Same thing goes with lolong. Over the, you know, the largest crocodile in the world, and the one that they think is actually bigger that they're talking about hunting now. I wish they just leave them alone, leave them out in the wild. That's where they belong. They can get some impressive species in captivity, but it's just these monsters. I don't like seeing them brought into captivity, let alone killed and consumed or used for purses, boots, whatever. But anyway, let's move on. In local news, the state of California, Governor Jerry Brown has signed the leatherback turtle is now the official state sea turtle. And you know, I sit here, you know, we're coming up to election time and everything, and I think about stuff like this, and I think, isn't there anything else we could be working on right now? How about the economy? How about the fact that my house is worth $12,000 less than I owe, which isn't nearly as bad as some people out there? But can we work on stuff like that, some jobs? Why do we need a goddamn state sea turtle? But then I dig a little bit deeper into it, and I realize that from this day forward, October 15th is going to be a Leatherback Conservation Day, and you know, they're going to be urged to teach the children in school about the sea turtles and everything, and there's so much good that comes from the governor signing this in as the official state turtle that I kind of have to take back all the bad stuff I think about it. I really do. And now we move on to Chesterfield, where apparently a 70-year-old man was found dead with a snake bite wound to the finger. Unfortunately, this snake bite wound to the finger, and where he was found dead, was in his own snake room. He was apparently a wildlife and a nature lover, and he was battling cancer. Now the sheriff does point out that the douchebaggery of the Times-Dispatch is not exactly correct, that they're not 100% sure what he died of yet, but he did keep a venomous snake in his collection, at least one. They did find him in his snake room dead. He does have a bite mark to the finger. A lot of assuming going on there, but we all know what assuming starts with, so I don't know. They're waiting for results from the medical examiner still. I think it's pretty safe to say. I mean, I kind of hate how the Times-Dispatch came out, and I mean, here it is right here. Chesterfield police investigating death of man bitten by venomous pet snake. What the... They don't know if it was the snake. They think it was probably the snake, but the medical examiner has yet to release the report on it. So it's very unfortunate. Animal Services has already removed the exotic animals from the home, and they're looking into placing them into good homes, whether it be licensed keepers or zoological establishments. They do point out that in Chesterfield it is illegal to own venomous snakes. And we move on to 17-year-old Australian boy was bitten by an inland taipan, and he actually survived, which has doctors kind of baffled due to the severity of the bite. Now, a couple of things, really jump forward out of here, kind of like the last story, but a little more so in that this bite actually happened 600 miles outside of the taipan's native range, and also the boy was able to bring the snake into the hospital with him, leading them to wonder whether this was an illegally kept taipan pet snake that bit its keeper. And we talked about the United States problem with coral snake antivenom. You know, to be honest, I don't remember how this story went, but I believe where it was produced, it had something to do with the FDA or the drug maker or the legislations, the regulations or whatever, and they weren't going to have any more coral snake antivenom. Apparently there was only one producer of it, and that producer was not going to be importing it into America anymore. Now, there have been extension after extension after extension, but word has it that the final extension is actually going to expire the U.S.'s current stock of coral snake antivenom on October 31st of this year. So, you know, they're saying if you're going to get bitten by one, you might want to do it before then, which I definitely don't recommend. But you see, this is one huge way that laws, legislation, and regulation really get in the way of things, because I'm sure there's those redneck idiots that get bitten by, I'm not even going to get into the conversation, you know how I feel about that, but you got to wonder how many accidental bites are out there from people that were just out loving nature and didn't realize where they were and got bitten by one of these snakes. Maybe somebody from California or something out there visiting their home range and mistakes it for a mountain king snake. Or you got to wonder how many just innocent accidental bites happen and how many people are potentially going to die because the U.S. has to have their hands in some of these big pharmaceuticals pockets. Or at the same time, some of these big pharmaceutical companies realize that they're the only ones providing this service to an entire world and use it to monopolize the market. You just got to wonder about that. And that, my friends, has been all your news for this Wednesday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, that link's right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White, and now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.